Algeria still have possession, do they? The referee making his instructions pretty well known. Mohamed Begal back onto the pitch once again. And how to feed out the ball. Americ has possession. Oh, nice pass there. It was actually coming in from Gulen. Algeria had very little instances of possession in the first half. As Kenya picked that ball here, right at the edge, and feet actually going over the line. Touch judge here making his instructions known. That ball is lost forward. I think the referee had already called for a stoppage in proceedings.
Yeah, the referee cannot allow the quick line out throw there because the defensive structures for the Kenya Simbas were already in place. Another foot in touch, and I think that's another careless possession for the Kenya Simbas. They would have done better to exit. They have struggled to exit from their 22 early on in the second half.
Solid touch. Now looking to capitalize here. Kenya, they have possession. It looks like Brian Wahinya will look to receive. Should probably find a way to get that out of their own territory. The sooner, the better. And now Brian Wahinya attempts the kick, and it's charged down. Well closed down here by Algeria. That was good play coming in from Gulen.
And guess what? They also now concede possession because the ball was carried into the try area, which means Algeria have a scrum down at the 5. The Kenya Simbas, they are guilty of not exiting. That is the second or third attempt, and they have still failed to get out of their red zone. Algeria looking to pounce. They lead 12-5. It is early days in the second half. The drizzles have stopped, the fans making their way back into the stands.
In the meantime, outside our commentary booth here, it's a packed bus of the Atlas Lions of Morocco, a bit crestfallen given how things turned out for them in the first game of the day. Looks like they'll not be standing on occasion to finish off the day, as Kenya managed to weather the storm, and now they do retain possession. There's a nervy moment there if Algeria had been able to outwit them right there on the scrum.
Yeah, the loose head prop, they are guilty of not keeping the bind, and that ensures that scrum is not steady and is not safe for the rest of the players. Penalty to the Kenya Simbas. John Kubu finds touch.
Line out for Kenya. They have possession, looking to wrestle their way forward now. Once again, Vincent Wikahili. Mukali, who's also had a very good showing out here tonight, and now releases the ball out to the flank. Big kick here coming in from Brian Wahinya. Maragwa. The ball is picked up instantly by Benjamin Kaminati. He will look to return. Tennis rugby here on full display. That ball, does it bounce into touch? Yes, it does.
Very good clearance kick there from Algeria as Jerome Powwater empties the bench. Ooh. A host of substitutions had to keep hold of this. I think he's had enough and just said, let's
all guns.
Yep. Let me just empty my guns just in case anything happens now.
So Eugene Wesonga Sifuna, Ephraim Bwire, Wihite Musisi, Andy Kolomolo, Thomas Okeyo, Samuel Asati, Barry Robson Young, and Walter Okoth, all striding on. It's going to be a different ball game altogether, I can guarantee, as Eugene Wesonga Sifuna cleans up the ball here to get his first task of the day underway.
Sifuna has been the go-to person, has been a starter for the Kenya Simbas for the previous 2 games, and so has Asati. So it's now, let's see what would ideally call the starting lineup of the Kenya Simbas has. They have been pegged back over a couple of days, over a couple of moments, and let's see how that goes as the ball goes over. sizing each other up, but again, very, very good defensive work there by Kemis Nori, putting on the number 11 shot.
They'll go for it once again. Of course, with the rains comes the mud, but that is no fear, as we do have the ultimate stain remover here as a partner of the Rugby Africa Cup. Omo, because dirt is good, Elmo is the ultimate stain remover. Scrum, once again. Algeria, well, they've really had the perfect combination of keeping their tactical game plan and very disciplined on that defense, dogged, pressed. As the referee here does signal the fact that the Simbas are once again in ascendance, winning that scrum battle. We'll talk about a bomb squad. This one has come with plenty of C4 to detonate the entire Algerian blockade.
You see the jubilations there from Andy Kolomolo, showing that is brilliant work and that is good work done there at the surface of the scrum. Barry Young with the responsibilities for the touch finder. Again, rejuvenated Kenya Simbas. Can they take advantage? Barry Young seizes it and it doesn't. Yes, it goes into touch. Good distance found. Barry Young doing what Brian Wahinya was struggling to do early on. As Nyambua there has been given a rest today, is on water carrying duty, but as well as being an assistant. He knows the game and he has done it pretty well. And that is a penalty to Algeria for offside after the knock-on. One of the Kenya Simba players played the ball, but he was playing it from in front of where the knock-on happened. That forces the offside line penalty to Algeria. Touch finder is good. The flag goes up from the assistant referee. Line out to the Kenya Simbas as the Algerians also freshen up their squad. Number 21 and number 17 for Algeria. Lilian Bagal at 21 and Jal Agweni at number 17. Come on, they have done their time. Of course, Algeria now back to full complement in the second half, but they still need 12-5. Mehdi Bosali has done his time. That line out doesn't go to Hans Sifuna, picks it from the back of the line out, driving and burying his way through. The ball goes through Barry Young's hands, but it's adjudged to have gone backwards. Asati with the kick that finds touch off the grass. And what do we have? It is a 50-22, and that is a very good piece of play from Asati off the base of the ruck. Line now to the Kenya Simbas, who are slowly and steadily edging and gaining the momentum in this game. Andy Kolomolo plucks the ball from the skies. The rolling maul takes good effect with Sifuna at the back of it. It is still going steady. The Kenya Simbas edging forward. The full penalty is on for entering the ruck for Algeria. This will become unplayable soon. Penalty to the Kenya Simbas.
Ooh la la. As the drizzles begin to intensify once again, the patter of the rain beating down heavy will definitely cause a couple of close calls here. Now the trick might be just managing to stay on your feet, let alone to stay in the ticking of the scoreboard. But fret not, because the official energy drink of the Rugby Africa Cup is Rock Boom, and we do encourage you to feel that bold energy with Rock Boom. Energize your game.
Rock Boom giving and ensuring that all the players are really hydrated. Andy Kolomolo picks the ball from a standing start at the back and
now trying to scamper their way there to the try line. Well, that was more of a stumble in, but it will still get the job done as the ball is passed on to here. Andy Kolomolo has possession, relinquished, and the referee says there was a knock on there. Interesting.
Yeah, the knock-on was on the attempted pickup there from the Kenya Simbas, number 18. Wow. Bring an end to the phase of play. That's Will White Mujusi, not able to gather that ball into his possession after a marauding drive from Andy Kolomolo. Scrum down Kenya Simbas. The Kenya Simbas have more impetus after the changes were rung by Jerome Powwater. They are showing a lot more intent.
To hold now. Well, that looked like it was bound to quickly go astray. So the referee brings them back to their feet to reorganize. It's been a long time since we saw any score on that board. Still stands 12-5. Will there be some explosion as we get to the evening of this particular game?
From the time that Algeria touched down midway the first half, both teams have just been trading blows. Once they get to the red zone, not as efficient or as clinical as they would like to be. The Kenya Simba still apply pressure, but the ball comes out. Cross kick, they have used this tactic and they are working well there for Algeria. Ball squats out.
Kemis Nori attempted to get that one in and now comes up here to quickly look to secure. But it looks like the Kenyans beat them to the punch as John Kubu loses possession there with a knock-on, and referee allows the play on advantage. Kick and chase here, ball scampering, and they have to be very decisive with how they pick to use this one. Kenya, the Simbas, Barry Robson-Young brought to the ground. Opportunity here, Algeria picking a leaf out of the Kenya playbook. And now they do have themselves possession. Well, this is a lot more like it. Both teams getting actively involved and upping the ante.
Yeah, both teams having a go at each other. Algeria realizing that every time the ball goes wide for the Kenya Simbas, they are light in terms of support. So they do pile on that pressure for that turnover. And the one that they do is they don't actually go for the ball. They go for a straight out drive. And as they pile the numbers, Kenya is overawed by the power and strength of the Algerian defense. That is a very, very well worked penalty and good work, good defensive work there from Algeria.
Now they look a little exasperated out there on the bench. As we head into another line out here, opportunity for Algeria once again to plug away at what's on card. Americ Trunk to deliver this one once again. Gets it in, and now they'll look to use that mile, but Kenya piling in the pressure, back to full strength by the way now. Algeria should have 15 on the pitch once again. Still no match for the Kenyans, as for the moment they find themselves frustratingly close, but still unable to make it count for them. And an infringement, the referee there serving a full penalty here to Kenya.
Again, the support not close enough for Algeria.
Is that for backtalk?
No, it was a jackal for the Kenya Simbas. They managed to get their hands on the ball, so Algeria was penalized for holding on to the ball. If you've been tackled, you are supposed to release the ball so that both teams can contest. Rugby is a game of fair contest where two teams go against each other. Algeria did lose extra ground because they were not behind the prescribed distance after the penalty was awarded. The line out goes, Sifuna cannot find the jumper, reprieve for the Algerians, and they do clear their lines. John Kubu under this one, clean take from the Kenya Simbas, and setting up an attacking platform. Asati manages to get the ball, and again in contact, the Kenya Simbas cannot retain that ball. Emmanuel Simiti, very, very guilty of losing that ball in contact. Knock on Algeria ball.
John Kubu, one of the fan favorites here. It looks like for the moment slowly tricking his way as he has to reorganize how Kenya will find their way back into this game. They have been on the back foot for the longer spells of this matchup. It's pretty unusual, not a place they used to. They are the hunters, but now, right now, it looks like they have the bullseye family painted on their back, and they don't like it one bit.
John Kubu has not had the influence that he would have loved on this game. He has not had any clear runs. The Algerians have been very, very tight on him, and they have also been pegging him back in terms of their kicks. So he has been doing a lot more defensive work as he picks it up there and is forced to go for the ground. Yeah.
Well, they still have possession well secured, and now Kenya will have to decide how they go about this one. And looks like it's brute force. Thomas Okeyo, Ongera, and they slip up there. That's a knock-on. It looks like there's a player on the ground for Kenya that might require medical attention, and there'll be a break in there. Looks like it's a concussion. If I'm not mistaken, that should be John Kubu.
Yeah, John Kubu in some bit of discomfort. It's a lot more precautionary to ensure that there is no damage. It's a head blow as Barry Young takes his eye off the ball. Unforced error, knock-on, and again more pressure has to be applied to the Kenya Simbas. John Kubu back onto his feet, and that's a very, very good sign. Scrum down, Algeria ball. Algeria raising the ante and upping it in the second half. They want the points. They don't want to go into the scenario of overtime.
John Kubu belongs to that breed of the original hard men, will only take something extreme to keep him on the ground as Algeria look to throw on more reinforcement. Meksoud Aitham is the man that is called on to take his spot now onto the pitch. And for Algeria, that's a pretty nice time to put some reinforcement in here as they're in the lead. But they could force the issue even further and make sure that ultimately they're able to secure the victory. They have the lead, only slender, only just. They need to find a way to capitalize the fact that they have been in the top draw, as Camille Boregba is the man that is withdrawn for the moment.
Changes are being rung and freshening up the players in the back as the drizzles continue. That is a very, very good pickup by Rain Baka, the number 8 of Algeria. Ball comes out and making his presence felt. The
Meksoud gets the ball rolled through, looking to make the kick and chest, but well closed down. And now trying to get acrobatic there with his attempt. Good play there from Kenya. And Barry Robson Young. We'll talk about flamboyance, talk about flair, with a panache of actually looking good while doing it. Barry Robson Young. If anything, at least it'll give you a highlight reel.
The Kenya Simbas, they are treating the rugby peel like a hot potato. All of them just chucking it all over the place and not able to get any formidable possession. I would think that in these conditions, you don't have to throw the rugby ball around. You just have to tuck it in, go through the quick phases, allow your team the ability to settle and use the rugby ball properly. Scrum down as that as a knock on. The ball is hard to pick up from the short spaces while it's on the floor. So that's a scrum down to Algeria.
Well, taking their time as instructions are getting bellowed out here before they can actually feed that ball into the scrum. Another test of wills, wits and might, as well as what reserves of energy are left in as they look to break out here quick to the mark. That's Amir Karabush. Gets the ball passed through, looking for a chance. Marvel Yusuf, the captain here of Algeria, skippered his team with sheer precision. Carries on. They do have the support here, an opportunity now to restart quick. The big lads get the ball carried forward. Jabari, Mohamed Yakin Jabari with possession, goes to the ground. Looks like another infringement cited.
As we wait the referee signal, I think that was either high tackle or hands in the rack, a player not rolling away in time. Chooses the mark and
they'll go for the poles. Opportunity to once again chip away and add to their tally. As we also will definitely have, that is Guylaine arriving here will be taking over. Gillen will be taking over the kicking duties here, positioning himself amply. Concentration on a high as Algeria have a chance to even go further and stretch that to a 10-point gap right on the hour mark. Gillen.
If this goes in, then Kenya will be in a little bit of bother. Gillen strikes it well. Distance is good. It shaves the upright. Reprieve for the Kenya Simbas. What do they call? Again, offside. That was an attempted kick, and the referee seems to say there was contact with the rugby ball, which means you have to, as long as you're in front of the player, we look at it again. It is struck well, a little bit skewed to the right. It comes off the upright. So as it comes down here, you see the attempted kick there by Asati, and then the player who's in front of him then picks the ball, and that is where the referee calls the offside. Another attempt for Gillen.
Well, Gillen definitely looking to put in the mark here for Algeria. And you can as well make your mark by being your own investor with MTN Momo. Investors low as 1,000 and earn interest daily. And you can withdraw your money anytime you want. No paperwork needed. Simply dial *165 *6# and select investor, or use the MTN Momo app. Penalty for Algeria. Puts himself in prime striking position. He'll have to shift it a little. And once again strikes the upright. I think the part that he anticipated, I had a feeling that was definitely going to come, knowing that this time it was slightly to the right. I had a feeling he would push it to the left, but who would have counted 2 shaves of the uprights in quick succession?
Well, we can actually say Gillen is a sharpshooter, because he's managed to shave both uprights in the same phase of play, apart from splitting the uprights, which is what he's supposed to do.
And with hindsight, you could say that's easier not done than done.
Yes,
and the target twice. Except that this time the target earns you no points.
He has gone for the smaller target and he has hit it perfectly. And that's, I think, when you look back, it becomes one of those highlight reels. Scrum down to the Kenya Simbas. Algeria not able to benefit from that line out.
Looks like there'll be another tactical change in the outlook of the squad on the pitch for Algeria. Substitute set to come through, but that will have to wait until this scrum is done. And standing by to feed the ball in for Kenya is none other than Samuel Mariosotti Asati. Samuel Moriosi Asati in possession now with the exit kick. Excellent. Into touch. Have an opportunity now to start off from the line out. Of course, the flags of the Uganda Rugby Cranes signal the fact that we are just a couple of minutes away from the hosts. Rugby Cranes saving themselves from what would be an absolute shamble of a campaign. They must find a way to battle relegation. That is something that many here will wish, although you have to say Cote d'Ivoire have very different ideas on just how to do that, because, well, it's also their neck on the line.
Yeah, the next game, of course, is relegation scrap, and the Jesus of stuff, which means the fans could make their way into, as Barry Young is charged down, but again the referee calls for the knock-on first. Barry Young's blushes have been saved by that phase of play. I think the Kenya Simbas are just a little too lethargic in getting to this, because those clearance kicks would get them out of trouble. They have basically been in their half, as we see the fans coming through, and smartness knows no weather.
But comfort does.
It's just a little cold here and there.
Depends on the magnitude of your little.
Scrum down, Asati. Asati, and then that's a short arm from the Kenya Simbas. Asati takes it quickly, hands it over to the big man, and that is a run for the line.
Thomas Okeo Ongera, it's going to take something special to stop him, and they do finally impede him just meters away. That was a breathtaking run from Thomas Okeo Ongera, literally single-handedly blitzing his way through the defense. And that's definitely taken something out of it. The medic also sliding while approaching him and going to the ground.
And they're asking him if he's okay because he did take quite a bit of time. Get up, and he's just in a little bit of a limp. I hope he's fine. Yeah, I hope he's okay. Okoye with that run, but he then gets into two stages of bother. One, concedes the penalty for holding on, and two, he is in some bit of discomfort. The chase is strong, but that is sure defense there.
That was a strong carry, and would have been one for the highlight reel had he managed to make it here to the try line. But a try-saving tackle executed here by Algeria to keep their lead still intact.
Hugo Vedu is who we can maybe call in that situation a small axe, taking and felling a big tree.
For the Kenya Simbas technical team, bit of a worry there on the state of their big man, big lad there, who definitely put himself in contention here, bringing the Simbas back to the fray.
About 14 minutes to the end of the game. Verdu finds touch of that good defensive piece of play there from Algeria. The Kenya Simbas pegged back once again, but what a run that was.
Tapped down. Chance now. Ooh, that was a clumsy pass there. Very clumsy from Asati. Allows Algeria a chance to regain possession. For the moment, they also squandered the opportunity.
The Kenya Simbas have been very, very guilty of not picking up that ball very well. They need to take care of the ball, especially when it's on the deck. It is slippery, so they have given away a couple of scrum downs because they're trying to pick it up and not going through the proper motion. You just can't pick it up like it's a dry day. You need to spread out your legs a little bit more, put the ball into the basket, pick it up, or get ready to just dive on it and secure possession for your team. The Kenya Simbas have been a little guilty of that.
Technique, well, that would be pretty foreign to some of us who have never set foot on the pitch. But nonetheless, we'll take your word for it.
Having done that for 13, 14 years, we played in some very, very horrendous conditions.
Okay, now you're just showing off. As the ball is played away, pass to the side, to the flank, whiplash, and that's the beauty about rugby. 1 minute, non-activity. Next minute, frenetic frenzy. Algeria wanted to quickly keep it moving. The referee halting them there to explain his decision. And once again, Algeria still have the ball. Opportunity here, and look like they'll be keep putting it into touch here. Enzo puts it into touch for a scrum. 12 minutes.
Yeah, both teams have really given it a go, and their handling is what has been letting them down. You have seen there the Kenya Simbas guilty of blocking that play, and there, as we see, David Onguti, hands on the deck first, which means you're not supporting your body weight, and that makes it unfair. Line out.
Looking to feed that in well, but I'm not so sure the adjective well would work out right there as play once again disintegrates and there's another stoppage. We are waiting to see what transpires here. In the meantime, if you find yourself in a fix and you need a financial bailout, well, that logbook could come in handy, as you could borrow money using it on the USSD code *249#, and that is from Platinum Credit. Scrum here. Scrum for Kenya. The Simbas feeding the ball in. Set to the flank. Big kick. Looking to clear their lines here. That ball was nicely anticipated. Now going to the ground. That's a high tackle. And the pain was very visible there to Benjamin Kaminati, who whistles his way into the heart of the Lions' den. Pick up, looking to move forward. Benjamin Kaminati has been in some very feisty situations in this matchup. And we get another chance to look at that. Slipped, went to the ground, and then there was a high tackle involved in there that left him gasping for his breath. Unfortunately, the referee saw it, and now they'll once again try their luck at target practice.
Do you think it's going to be Julian again? Because he can strike the upright.
Julian hasn't really had a showing. He's not even on the starting lineup today. So Benjamin Kaminati was the man who shaved the post. This time, Enzo will take his attempt. Doesn't really have a very, I think he's one of the few players who has a very simple pre-kicking ritual. Sets it, side steps, measures the distance, gets into the groove, and then visualizes, steps up, makes the kick, and it's off the mark. Just slightly off the mark.
Yeah, Crawford skews that to the left of the uprights. Algeria just not being able to extend that lead. They still lead by 7, which means another full score for the Kenya Simbas would get us a tie game, and with about 9 minutes of play, this game is very, very firmly poised on a knife's edge. Barry Young gathers off the kick, and we'll have a little bit of foot tennis.
9 minutes left to play, and play descends.
The kick is good. Another 50-22 for Algeria. They have gotten into these positions a couple of times, but they haven't been able to be as clinical as we think that they should be. They have had the edge, they have had the better territory advantage, but not putting any points to book. As we, of course, prepare for the second game, the crossover between one game to the other is going to be as brief as 8 minutes. Do you see the Kenya Simbas back into this game, Jermaine?
Well, hardly. I think it might be. But, well, Kenya have actually had those spells of managing to mount a late comeback. Ask Namibia, they saw it firsthand. The question is it enough in the tank for them to execute? For the moment, it looks like Algeria have decided to lay the blockade right in their 22. Can't even get past the halfway line. And I think for Kenya, it's going to be a very disappointing afternoon that they've had so much of the ball but been able to make very little with it.
Yeah, the Kenya Simbas have had a lot of the ball, yes, but they've had it in the wrong areas of the field. They've had it close to their 22. They've had it in their half, which means attacking at that point is going to be very, very difficult. As the long throw goes, Algeria with the rolling maul, they do have some momentum, momentarily been stopped, and that is one call. They've been asked to use it as the maul has stopped. Drop kick. And that is to perfection for Algeria. Another 3 points. That has been very, very well done by Verdu. What a phase of play.
Ugo definitely making sure that he sticks a dagger in Kenya's heart and guarantees that there will be no redemption story for them here. It is a 10-point gap at the moment, with time fleetingly going by, and Kenya now staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. This is nothing like what the script suggested for them when they were in the dressing room ahead of this particular game.
Of course not. The Kenya Simbas came out with all intentions to pose a statement. We talked about it and said that they had momentum coming through after their loss to Zimbabwe when they scored the last flurry of points in that game, which means momentum was on their side. But they have faced a formidable Algeria team that has defended resolutely and kept pegging them back. The Kenya Simbas have also been guilty of giving the ball away in possession, couple of knock-ons, and they have also not cleared their lines or exited very, very well. Referee
having a consultation here with the touch judge before getting back into the play. It's been a tricky game, by the way. The men in the center don't get a lot of their flowers here, but it's been a tricky game that he's handled right down the middle, missing not a trick, and he's been absolutely spot on for every single detail. In the meantime, the heavyweights are arriving. Their clash will be on in the grand finale. First up are the Sebos of Zambia, who I must say have definitely earned themselves a legion of fans here in Uganda.
Yes, and contrary to what happened in the semi-finals, the Zimbabwe Sebos have actually made their way into the Nambole complex, which means they will be in good voice. They were a little bit disgruntled because they arrived a little late for their semi-final, but now arriving on time. Back onto the field, it's about slightly under 5 minutes of play in this game. It is a 10-point lead for Algeria as that ball goes, and the small kick chase, Barry Young under it gathers it very well, but the push from Algeria causing a little bit of bother. The Kenya Simbas pile on the phases. Ball comes from Asati, but another crunching hit and another knock on there. What does the referee say? We will take the first knock on. The Simbas again gave the ball away in contact.
Well, the things that Rugby Africa Cup does to you, the excitement of the final being close to hand, has me calling Zimbabwe Zambia. Apologies for that. But as they normally say in Uganda, regardless we move, as the substitution is on for Algeria, who are making sure that there will be no regardless here, as another substitution is made. Adam Mohad Mokhtari is the man that is set to come on and will take the place of Americ Tronk, who's put in a solid shift here. Had an earlier concussion scare. It looks like he's been able to finish off 76 minutes of a brilliant shift in here. Now will earn his break and probably will be celebrating that third place finish with his troops at the end of the game. It's the Rugby Africa Cup, brought to you live here on NBS Sport by MTN Momo, Platinum Credits, Omo, and of course Rock Boom, who energize the game as Uganda Rugby Union's official premium energy drink.
Seeing out the last 3.5 minutes of this game, Algeria in possession, and they will want to pile on more points or play this game in the right areas. Ball kicked over, and that is a very, very good gather. The ball over to Kaminati. What does he do? Swing it back into possession.
Losing possession, but still wrestled here by the Algerians, and they still have a chance to get it on. They managed to retrieve it. The ball has a mind of its own. It's frenetic, it's frenzied, it's electrifying. A zing in the air, looking to finish off this one with a big one, and another drop kick attempted. Lightning won't strike twice.
Vadu trying to show his ambidextrity there, kicking off the left and off the right boot. What a chase there, and what a kick and an attempt there. John Kubu deceived by the bounce of the rugby ball and almost fell to Samil Kabuk, who gathered very, very well, but they couldn't apply the finishing touch. We see some of the Algeria contingent, they are not happy with that failing together.
3 minutes left to play on the attack. And
Algeria are hoping to keep this ball in hand. They have kicked it away the last couple of times. Let's see if they can build some phases of play as they write it down. And right there, another hoist of the boot. The ball goes up. Barry Young under it. Ball in the basket. The rack formed and the platform is set for the Kenya Simbas as Asati. With a quick start, Asati making some inroads. Very, very good tackle there from the back.
Close to the halfway line, but finds his ascension momentarily halted. And Kenya now trying to up the ante, and this one on a high. Maybe one last gasp here to attempt and stun Algeria. Algeria will hope that their defense holds as resolute as it has for the larger parts of the game. Trying to send that ball in. It's a tackle on the man who didn't have the ball, but play continues as the Simbas still have possession and they stand their ground. John Kubu, I don't know how much more battering his body can take.
It has been a very hard tournament for John Kubu there. Every time he's got the ball, he has not found any glory, he has not found any space. Quick tap! Maybe unwise because his teammates were waiting and lining up maybe for a line out. The Kenya Simbas have ball in their hand but being driven back by Algeria.
And the ground playing to the favor of the defense of Algeria. We are seconds away from that hooter. And something that Kenya would not want to hear now as the ball is lost forward. And Algeria, chicken wing pass, really giving it out to the flank. And Algeria definitely making sure that they keep everything within their prime.
And a kick there from Vadu finds touch on the full, which means we will come down to a line out. Sifuna with ball in hand. The hooter going off any moment now, or the hooter has gone off, which means this is the last play. It will give Kenya impetus in the line out. If they can score from this, they will possibly end their campaign on a high. What does the referee call? I see the ball has been handed over to Algeria.
The referee now deliberating on how to take this set play.
For the match and the captain before getting into our next counter, Cote d'Ivoire taking on Uganda.
So we await to see what the final proceedings will be. Last stanza in this game.
It is a scrum down to Algeria, which means as they regard this possession, they will just be knocking it into touch for the end and acclaiming and rewarding themselves with a bronze medal in this tournament. The ball comes out and that is the end of the game. Algeria are victorious in this one. The bronze medal match, they beat the Kenya Simbas 15 points to 5, and what an exchange of blows both teams have shown. What a competition it has been. It culminates into a bronze medal match and a bronze medal victory for Algeria, who were finalists last year. Jermaine?
Top 3 in the continent, and they managed to secure the victory with aplomb. A masterful domination over and domination of Kenya's Simbas, frustratingly keeping them at bay, and they managed to edge them out here to the 3rd place. For Kenya, it will be back to the drawing board and another year where they have to figure out how to campaign to get back to the top of the mountain where they have been before. Full time in the Rugby Africa Cup 2025 here at the Mandela National Stadium in Uganda, Kampala. It's Algeria 15, Kenya 5.
the host, that is the Rugby Cranes, but also equally so, changes being made by the coaches here to try and push the team over the line in what is clearly a very important game. Of course, we see Fad Maido, he'll be starting on the bench.